Thank you. Good evening, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone here. Thank you for today. Some of them maybe the first time to come visit the complex in the renovation. I hope you like the office. And we're glad to have a new excitement project that we never done before in our history, especially in our hometown. And I actually really excited today with our guests and organization. I have a representative from the city, Councilman Dero Soponar. I have a representative from 6th District, Mr. Chom, and then also our community leader, and then a lot of them, but we'll have them introduce themselves later on. But I'm so excited. And then today we have the representative director from California Science Center come to a greeting and with this project. So please, I would like to invite.
Thank you, Consul General Kim. We are really honored to be here, and your hospitality is fantastic. And welcome to the council member and all of the community representatives. I hope all of you are somewhat familiar with the California Science Center. Do you know the Science Center? Yes. Somewhat do, okay. Well, if you've seen the Space Shuttle Endeavour, that's ours. We're also known for our IMAX theater. We have a very popular science camp we run in the summer with, in pre-pandemic, 5,000 kids a year going through our science programs. And we host a number of other exhibits. We're actually one of the most attended museums in North America, with over 2 million people a year. Again, I say pre-pandemic. The most attended in the Western United States. The big museums in New York and in DC get more than we do, but otherwise we are. And we're very proud that, like in general, the community in Southern California and California, we do not charge general admission, and that's really an effort to be accessible to everyone. We do charge for some of our special exhibits because we have to make them happen. We do 2 or 3 special exhibits every year. You may have heard of some of our recent ones. We did the world premiere of the latest King Tut exhibition. We did a big exhibit on Pompeii a few years ago, the Dead Sea Scrolls, and many more. And when we do these exhibits, we try to bring the science to them and talk about how science has helped us learn about ancient civilizations and other things, and that's how we approach it. We are so thrilled that in February, we will be hosting the world premiere of a new exhibit, Angkor, the Lost Empire of Cambodia, that we have worked together with our partners in Europe, museums partners, and the Cambodian Ministry of Culture and National Museum to put together this exhibit. And I'd like to start by introducing our staff that's here, and then a little presentation on the exhibit, and then some time for questions, and hopefully time to just chat with all of you afterwards and get to know you all. So why don't I start with our staff team. Monique Hudson is our Director of Government and Community Relations. Chris Sion is our Vice President of Event Services, if she does all the parties. Gina Lee is our Director of Marketing. And Jennifer Lawrence is our Director of Special Exhibitions and helps bring all these things here. And Raquel is here as well. And help make sure that we can show the projection of what we're doing. And finally, I'd like to introduce our Senior Vice President, Dr. Diane Perloff, who's been spending the last year and a half working on this exhibit. And she's learned a lot about Cambodia and Angkor herself. I'd like to share that with you. Thank you.
I'll lay the mayor of Signal Hill. He actually just arrived.
Can we turn off the lights?
Yeah, I will turn off the light, but let me get the seat. Maybe Sean can, yeah, just get. Let me turn off the light. I know which one, right?
Well, thank you. I am just thrilled to be able to introduce you to our upcoming exhibition. We're going to be hosting the world premiere of Angkor, the Lost Empire of Cambodia, opening next February through September. And what I'll do is, do you want to sit here?
No, it's fine.
Oh.
I'm standing.
And what I'll do is I'll introduce you to a little bit about it and just sort of let you know what you're going to see and do in the exhibition, and then we'll have a little Q&A and we'll go from there. So we are really pleased to be working with the Cambodian National Museum and the Cambodian Ministry of Culture on this exhibition, and they have just been wonderful to work with. Next. Oops, hold on. Thank you. The theme of the exhibition is to explore through science the rise and fall. Oops, to explore through science the rise and fall of ancient Angkor. There's some great. It's hard we don't have a remote control. But thank you, Jen, for seeing the. No problem. There are a lot of great features in this exhibition. We will have immersive environments. We will have over 120 original Cambodian artifacts, and half of them will be on tour outside of Cambodia for the first time, which is a real coup. Yeah, it's really going to be wonderful. There'll be hands-on exhibits. It will be bilingual in English and Spanish, and we'll be showing it in conjunction with a 3D IMAX film of the same title. In this exhibition, you will enter ancient Cambodia and learn that it was once the capital of a vast Khmer empire, home to over 100 different temples, and once the most extensive empire in the entire world. And through the lens of science, you'll explore the engineering marvels and the cultural marvels of this empire, the daily life of the people, and the environmental changes that shaped its future and led to its decline. So you'll enter through this facade. This is the top floor of the exhibition, and this was inspired by this photograph, which is one of the famous photographs of ancient Angkor, with the strangler figs crawling over the temples and all of that. It's just fabulous. And the first thing you'll see is a 3-minute introductory video to let you know about the ancient world of Angkor, to introduce you to it, and to introduce you to what you'll see and do when you get to the exhibition. Now, the first thing you'll do is you'll weave your way through the forest, and that forest is represented by 3D bamboo. This is a design rendering of it. It's being built as we speak, in front of scenic foliage. And there'll be historic artifacts and notebooks and drawings, including the ones on this page, that really let you know about what it was like when the first Western explorers first came upon Angkor, and you'll learn how the West was introduced to the glories of ancient Angkor. The first section is called The Gods of Angkor, and there you'll decode statuary to learn about the gods and the chronology of the empire. So for instance, we'll have on display this stela, which has inscriptions on it in Sanskrit honoring the gods. And then right next to this, there'll be an interactive exhibition in which you can reassemble and decode replicas of stone fragments to sort of see what it's like to try to decipher the remains of this ancient empire. And you'll learn that this was the main way archaeologists really learned about the history of ancient Angkor and the chronology. Amazingly enough, all of the bas-reliefs, such as this one in ancient Angkor, were dated, which is wonderful. So that's how we know the chronology of the kings, and we know a lot more about them. We have on display all of these artifacts, including many more that are real masterpieces, including this shrine to Havajra, which is considered one of the masterpieces of the Khmer Empire. And we have many such masterpieces on display. The other thing that this demonstrates, which is wonderful, is it has a Hindu symbols combined with Buddhist symbols to really indicate how Buddhism and Hinduism really overlapped peacefully in ancient Angkor for centuries. Next. The second section is about the centralized empire. With the advent of flight in the 1920s and 1930s, it was the first time we really got a chance of looking at the expanse of this empire. So with aerial photography and LiDAR, which is remote sensing, they could see through the trees and able to reveal how these Khmer engineers really transformed the landscape and created a vast empire. Can you back up a second? And then on display in the centerpiece is this interactive exhibit. And what this is an interactive exhibit that has a projection on it of a LiDAR map and an aerial map. And here it is again. And on this map, you move remote control looking glass over the LiDAR map or the aerial map, and you can explore the site in 3 different ways. The first game is you can explore Angkor Wat as a cosmogram and learn that this was an earthly model of the cosmic world and home of the gods. The second game is you can explore the urban pattern, and you can find temples and fields and neighborhoods and roads and bridges. So this is a LiDAR image that really shows you through the trees. You'll see the neighborhoods, see the grid pattern of the neighborhoods. I mean, it was really a highly advanced, urbanized society. And you see this when you finally see these LiDAR images. And the third game is about the water system, the moats, the reservoirs, the community ponds, and the canals that enabled people to grow rice year-round. And they needed to grow it year-round to support this huge population, which is at its peak was about 1 million people. In fact, the empire of Cambodia extended about the size of Los Angeles in space and had 1 million people. The kings built temples not only to honor the gods, but to consolidate their power. And in this section, you'll get to see a hands-on, this is a 3D image of one of the temples, and you can explore that in a hands-on activity. You can also see images of what the temples looked like in their heyday. They were gilded, they were colored, they were really beautiful, far from the sort of the ruins that they are today. And then also see images that talk to you about how they were built, which was really a master of engineering. Yeah. I love this pediment. This is a pediment fragment that was on the temples, and it looks kind of small and intricate. This is 3 feet tall. So you get to see it up close, and you get to see the intricacy of these incredible artifacts. Here you ascend to the central tower of the temple and walk between the statues of protective Hindu gods that are laid out in their original order that they were in the ancient empire, and that they really represent the sacred nature of this journey. Section 3 is where you meet the Khmer and learn about the daily life of this as a hierarchical society, the aristocracy, the priests, the artisans, farmers, fishermen, and traders. And you'll enter through an immersive environment with sound and video all around you, in which you can experience the 2-season climate of ancient Angkor, 6 months of rain and 6 months of dry. And you learn that in this climate, as it is still today, up to 1 million people lived and worked and made their livelihood. And this image right here is blown up on this side because I find this so interesting. In the rivers and in the canals, there are carvings of Hindu gods. And as the water then passes over the river and passes over the Hindu gods then bless the water with fertility to pass on fertility and growth to the farms downfield. I think that's just so beautiful and so poetic. Now, while the wood and thatch of the homes have long since deteriorated, we learn about the daily life through what is left behind, through the household items, the seeds, the inscriptions, and the residue from cooking vessels that has lasted up to 1,000 years. So in this exhibit, Jeff was talking about the science focus that we have. You don't only learn about the history, but you learn how we know what we know. So you learn about the science investigation that led us to this knowledge. Next. So on display, we'll have the cooking pots and ritual items of the household, jewelry of the elite, and other tools and equipment of the household. And all of these items and more are on display. This is one of my favorite interactives. I'm just highlighting a few of them. This is where you get to explore a bas-relief from the Bayonne Temple. And this is on the outer wall of the Bayonne Temple. The Bayonne Temple is particularly famous because this is one of the few temples that depicted daily life in ancient Khmer. The traders and the farmers and the fishermen and the cookers and the child care workers and all of that. So what you'll do in this exhibit, this is a replica of the Bayonne wall that you can touch with your hands. It's 3D. And you'll move, these are 3 monitors, 3 stations, and you can move them like a library kind of rail. You can move them vertically or horizontally. And when you hit a hot spot, there will be a video or an animation that depicts and tells you more about that image that you have landed on. So for instance, this one, you know something's going on, but for the uneducated, we don't know what's happening. And they're actually baking bread. So you learn about bread making in ancient Cambodia. The fourth section is about the fall of the empire. And here you explore through bas-reliefs such as this one, including this one, and video, the major theories of why the empire declined when it did. And those are through invasion from Siam, religious and political upheaval, and climate change. And we learn much more about climate change in this exhibit as well, because now, with the help of tree ring analysis and some other scientific tools of the day, we're able to see long-term climate change. So we're able to really compare that with the growth patterns of those trees. Next. The fifth section looks at loss, recovery, and preservation. Now, looting has occurred in Angkor throughout the centuries, like all the World Heritage sites. Many artifacts have been recovered, but repatriation still continues. And on display, we'll have repatriated objects along with their stories of recovery and restoration. This is one image from in France where the head was removed from this fresco. And this is another image of some woman in France who was cradling this head that was chopped off and taken from a statue in Angkor. And now it's completely out of context. Next. A highlight of the exhibit is the Prasat Chen ensemble. This was stolen in the 1970s and not returned until 2013. So a selection of these sculptures will be on display in their original composition. And it is only when these figures are together, or they're reunited, that we can hear the story that they were designed to tell. So what we want to convey is that the repatriation of artifacts is not only important for the object themselves, but it is really important to preserve the heritage of a people. And in particularly, objects, when they're taken out of their context and they're just individuals, you lose their meaning. And only when you reunite them and in their context do they finally give the meaning that they were intended to convey. The last section is about resilience and continuity. Now, withstanding the fall of the empire, the temples have been used continuously for over 1,000 years. And this image shows, I love this because it shows the strangler figs over the temples, but it shows the Buddhist monks who are still using these temples. And this one is a LiDAR image that shows the imprint beneath the trees so you can see the grid patterns. Sometimes with the homes, you cannot tell, when the homes aren't there, you can't tell where they were, but through LiDAR, you can see the foundations. So you can see the foundations just through a slight raise in the soil. So you can see a grid pattern that was there that you can't see any other way. So research continues at Angkor, headed by a new generation of Cambodian scientists who are providing new perspectives on the legacy of Angkor. And in this section, we'll have on display artifacts that show both continuity and change at Angkor. And we show that in the arts, in architecture, in science, and in commerce. Including this is a costume from Prince Tesso's foundation, his collection. So we have some of his work on display, which is wonderful, including these altar pieces as well. Thanks. So that's it. That's a short overview. Now I thought if you have, we have a couple minutes in case before the discussion, if you have any specific questions about the exhibit, I would love to entertain your questions. Yes, sir.
Okay, so when I was in Cambodia, Angkor Wat, and I did actually 8 different provinces. One of the provinces, they had a pyramid, which I thought was pretty amazing because I had not known that pyramids were built in Cambodia. And I didn't hear, I don't know if you've had, is that going to be part of the exhibit or not?
That I don't know about. I don't know. I have not heard that.
Okay.
But we will look into that.
Okay.
But I know that pyramids are in a lot of places other than Egypt. They're in
Yeah.
South America and in a lot of those empires as well. So it's not uncommon. Yeah. Yes. Any, no? Oh, yes?
Yes, on the wall they have a story that not average person know about. I want to know what other story do you know of that they have there, besides bread making?
Besides what?
Besides bread making.
Oh, bread making. Oh,
Okay.
there's child care.
Okay.
That's one of child care. Traders. And there's a lot of stories of marketing and the types of marketing that they did, and transportation and transporting things from the fields to the market, so you can see what transportation they had. That's all I can think
There's a
of.
section of the wall that really focused on daily life, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so all of those kinds of daily life activities are included. Yeah, it's really very interesting.
Yeah, I know.
Yes?
Is there an opportunity to inject into your exhibit of stuff that we might think is beneficial for your organization, for the Science Center, to have more? Because at the Cambodian Legacy Museum in Minnesota, we have a bunch of stuff that you don't have there that we would like to kind of lend to you so you can tell the fuller story.
What kinds of aspects of the story were you
Oh,
thinking of?
Yeah, like one of the stories that I just got back into my community, and I've learned that Khmer Empire was like the empire of the Southeast Asia, and through that we were the first one to actually use the circle wheel to build and to create those blocks that make the Angkor Wat. You have to have a circle wheel in order to transport and move the blocks of. So
Yes.
we have an artist that came from Cambodia and drew up the whole wall and has a picture like you would imagine that it looks like from Egypt, where the former Khmer folks within, were creating and building an Angkor Wat
Yeah.
using the circular.
Yeah, we have an exhibit about how they built the temples.
Okay,
And
okay.
so we do have an exhibit like that, and we have an interactive exhibit next to it in which you can build your own temple using the techniques and the style of ancient Angkor. So we do touch on that in the exhibition.
And how about the zero?
Zero.
So the first
Yes.
Cambodian will use the first Cambodian and it used the zero. Zero was found. That's just been finalized. So we have those exhibit that might intrigue to you.
That's
So
wonderful. The
yeah,
exhibit is already made,
Made,
unfortunately,
okay.
yeah. It's, because it's opening in February.
yeah.
But we do have, the one thing that we can do, and you should talk with our events department, because we have the opportunity to, if people wanted to host events, to have lectures or panel discussions, because the exhibit can't tell all of the stories. And so that would be a wonderful opportunity to have a reception and to have lectures or a panel discussion for people to just sort of say more and hear more about ancient Angkor.
Sure.
So connect
And we
with.
would love to hear more from you so we know
Yeah.
more about this.
Glad to.
Thank you. Yes.
I saw in the briefing you just shared with us, I saw the Nang Spike or the puppet show in there. So puppet show,
I
the
see.
puppet,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
And we have a group in Cambodia that partnership with Mirapum Khmer Spirit. We now no longer in Long Beach, but we will have like a satellite office here, but our main office is in Kingman, Arizona at at the moment, and we would like to get like connected like what you just shared. We can have like a to share some show or dance like traditional dance that according to the Apsara, we just in case they want to know more about what is Khmer dance, what is the puppet show, how it made it, and also the last but not least the I forgot so many the Rimke. No, but the name of the dance, it's about only one story, but it kind of how many character in there, and it also is known. It was acknowledged as a Khmer heritage, the world heritage. The count.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the count. I'm sorry. Too many things in my mind. I'm so excited to hear that you're going to have an exhibit in LA. Like, wow. And my partner from Minnesota was excited. She fly over from there in case we just want to join, to join hands to share the world, to know all about our artifacts. We were so excited. And I'm so sorry I came here a little late because I had my mom with me that I took her for her birthday for a week. And I just came today, rushed into traffic, so I just dropped her in her long-term care. And then I just run right here, right away. She was calling me, sorry. But I'm so excited. Thank you so much. This is what we here today for. Every one of us is like so excited. I cannot share how much exciting I am right now, but I just say I can just thank God that let this event happen. It's a long time we never heard about Khmer Empire. We are dreaming of that.
And Chris is our events person, and Gina's our marketing person, and Gina's taking notes. Thank you, Gina, for taking notes. And this might be a good time to open it up to a general discussion about what we can do in terms of special events and receptions. The Science Center is an opportunity for the community to use this exhibit, to host, because it's open to the public during the day, but in the evening we're available for private events or public events that you can talk to Chris and her team about hosting to embellish the exhibition, or on weekends, as well as different opportunities that we might want to discuss about how to get the word out. How to get the word out to the Cambodian community most effectively, to let people know that this is here.
Ooh.
So any other ideas, anything that you like what you have spoken about, anything about special lectures or opportunities that you see?
Oh.
Can you list some of the cities that you will be at? Do you already have some cities in mind?
Yeah, it's going to go to Salt Lake City, it's going to go to Denver, it's going to go to Cincinnati, I think Boston.
It's still not final. Everything is not final. Our opening is final, and I think Salt Lake City is next.
Yeah, Salt Lake City is right after us.
On the schedule.
We'll know in a couple months what the tour is.
Honestly, our whole museum community's special exhibit schedules got mixed up by COVID. Everyone's moving things around. We closed.
And it'll go around the States, and then it's going to go to Europe, and then it'll go to Australia and New Zealand, so it's going to various other continents as well.
Is it going to be eventually in Cambodia at some point?
To be returned, I think.
Returned to Cambodia.
I know, that's a shame that it should be at the museum in Cambodia. Well, that's something to talk about. Yeah, we should talk to them about that.
It's all their objects, so they can certainly.
Yeah.
I wanted to say something. My name is Monique Hudson, and I'm Vice President of Government and Community Affairs. So I'm really intrigued with working with you and finding some community partnership opportunities. For the community, we have tickets, you know, some of the things you guys are talking about, maybe we can find some ways to come together, to work to, you know, to find some ways to support our communities, and to show people that don't know, even in Los Angeles or wherever, maybe we can put something together to showcase this through our community engagement. So
And I will add a little bit to that to say that I hope, you know, I talked briefly about the Science Center in general, you know, and our purpose and mission is to inspire science learning in everybody, but particularly young people. So when I talk to educators who are here, I hope that it will introduce members of the community that don't know us well to the Science Center, and that all the children in the community here who may not always get to Los Angeles and not know us will see the opportunity and get inspired about science in addition to this exhibit.
maybe we can have a day, you know, and you know, we can really talk about, you know, bring the community and bring people in and dance. I mean, you know, something. So I'm really, you know.
Yes, thank you. That was an excellent presentation. A lot of us here. A lot of us here might be, you know, born there, but we really don't know a whole lot of the history. So this is a good start. I think you picked the right county to start. Thank you for that. I think one of the things that Monique, you mentioned, it's about bringing the community together, right? One of the things that I always realize is that access is an issue. And people may know, hey, you know, I actually asked, is it county? And you corrected me and said it's part of the state, right? And I worked for LA County all my life, but we really never have the opportunity to really introduce it in that form, right? But one of the things that we don't always do a good job in is access to the plays. And when we talk about access, it's about us coming together and connecting ourselves with the community that we work with, you know. You have the right group of people here that work with so many different groups. And I'm so excited to hear this because I don't know what kind of partner I'll be in, but I would love to be a part of whatever it is that you would like for us to do, whether it's outreach, whether it's connecting you to the right community partner. Absolutely, I would love to do that. A lot of local artists are something that I thought, you know, you incorporate, you know. The young lady from Minnesota mentioned about injecting some of these different, you borrow items, but you have live artists here. I think that you may have a good opportunity to connect with them. And like you said, an event of something, February to September, a long range to plan something and to have the community come together and spread this. I think, you know, I would love to see that partnership connect with everyone.
You know,
I love
nice
it.
To get, also, we have community groups. So for instance, people at senior living places.
Yes.
You know, they can get. We can connect with them, or you can help us organize a tour for them to come to the Science Center jointly to enjoy it, or children in the school groups, or various other community organizations. So the organization can come together. When we did that with the Dead Sea Scrolls, we had many temples that organized groups to come together. And when we were in Tut, we had the Egyptian ambassador. She had a lot of groups that came to see it together.
And you know, somebody was talking about Long Beach schools and trying to get Long Beach schools to do more about Cambodian culture. So it might be, I think it might be interesting to see if we could work more generally than just the Cambodian community to get the schools here to see this as an opportunity to introduce more of the children of Long Beach to the culture.
And Diane, if I may, I'd like to present another opportunity to this group since I have all of you right here. In addition, my role at the Science Center is to help you facilitate private events at the Science Center, both in the daytime and the evening, which is my passion. But my second passion is overseeing all of the events that we do internally at the California Science Center. So we have galas, we have things to fundraise for the Science Center so we can keep our doors open to all of the school kids and families who visit us. But along with that comes an opportunity that we will need some vendors and support to make these thematic parties come to life with your help.
Yes.
We need Cambodian dancers. We need Cambodian artists, maybe,
Yeah.
that would be able to design invitations. We need Cambodian food and beverage folks. You know, if there's something that makes sense to this community that resonates with you, I want to know about it.
Yeah.
Because I want authenticity in our events. When we portray your culture, we would like to do it with respect and authentically. So if there are artists and people that you know who represent you well, I'm your girl. Come
Yes.
see me. My name is Chris.
She's got a lot of business cards on her.
One more question. Okay.
We're also excited. Just to piggyback what Sam was saying, I couldn't think of any better timing. This is perfect timing. Cambodian New Year is fall in April. And so that is one of the biggest events celebrate throughout, United States, and plus, it's as a 1-month celebration. So already, I think to kick off, our councilwoman in 6th District already designated a date in April that we have a big celebration gathering in El Dorado Park. So usually I think we bring about at least over 10,000 people to be there. So that's, I mentioned to Gina. So,
She's your girl.
So I think,
marketing.
yes, it's cool.
Around that.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you say the date one more time?
November 9th.
April 9th.
April 9th.
But it's April. It's not ever on March, but
That's
it's just gonna be
yesterday.
at Long Beach City College.
Okay.
It's the campus right here.
Oh, that's great.
PCH?
Yes, PCH.
That's great.
Which is in line with the education that you talked about, so I think everything's,
that's
kind of
Yes.
connected.
Yeah.
And that would be nice to have a kickoff, a special event to open the new year. And also, we just open up for COVID too, I mean, to kind of, in a way, kick off COVID.
Yeah, Kayleen, you and I will definitely have to talk more
And we
about a
want
partnership.
people to let people know, so we want to connect with the Khmer, with the Cambodian media, and any connections with other media, so that, so that we can promote that and let people know what's happening.
And I also like to introduce myself. My name is Chort Dem, Chief of Staff of Councilman Suli Sara in the 6th District. She is the first Cambodian American council here. So she also brought the agenda item for the Cambodian American Cultural Center. So that's coming up. So this is a great opportunity for us to work together. So I will bring this to Councilwoman. Thank you for the invitation.
Now, what did you say, the Cambodian American Cultural Center, is that new?
That is new. It's something. It's an agenda item that she brought, and this is something that we're going to look into with the community right here. So we are looking to doing this.
I see.
So that's something that yeah.
Interesting. So that's something in the future that you want to establish?
Yes, that is correct.
Oh, that's great.
I just want to add to something. Thank you. I lived in Long Beach for many years, and normally when friends visit me, when they heard of Cambodian town, they get excited, but they get dejected because we got nothing to look at. Now that you have the center, I can point in the right direction.
And you can give them a good tour, because you know about it, yeah. Yes.
Hey Diane, not to dampen the mood of what with so excitement's going on, but have you thought about the killing fields when there is question that comes up where the dark years, the 3 years, 8 months, and 18 days of those dark years that we also need to to actually not just a great thing, but something happened that is darkening. That's why we're here. All of us are here because of that. That's why Cambodians are dispersed, outside United States. Outside Cambodia.
Yeah, we've talked a great deal about that because we don't want to ignore it. Because to talk about Cambodia and to ignore those years would be a disservice. But that's not what the exhibit's about. So it's not the focus of the exhibition. So we've talked a lot about how to address it. And we do address it in the section on loss and recovery and in that section. So we do talk about what happened, and we focus a lot of it on the artifacts that was devastating to the people and the land and the heritage. So we sort of focus on the heritage aspect of it. and that it was a tremendous loss. We don't go into too much detail. We've vetted this with people of the community to make sure that this is the right tone. And so, yeah, we definitely have given a great deal of thought to that. Yeah, so it's in the exhibition. It's not a big part of the exhibition, but it's definitely there.
Because we do have items. You want it.
We struggled a lot with
Yeah,
it
yeah.
because
Yeah.
you could do, I mean, you've all seen the photographs, they're just
Yeah.
horrible and all that, and the torture and everything, but we ended up saying, let's focus on the ancient culture, but talk about how the cultural things were lost because of this, not to do an exhibit about.
We have a wonderful display of the flags, of the, the commemorative white banners that are in Cambodia that are just beautiful, that commemorate the loss of the people. So we have that sort of on display and part of it, so just visually, so there is that aspect to it that people will recognize.
I don't want you to be blindsided when they're like, yeah.
It was
we are
one of the
very-
first things we thought about, is like, how do we address this in the right way? Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up.
Well, I was thinking, I know you're probably thinking about other things that may come up. What we want to do is just a few notes. I'd like to make sure that everybody signs in.
Yes.
We have some sign-up sheets here because we want to know how to be able to reach out to you, in different areas. So if you could please sign up. We also have refreshments, some snacks in here. So when we disperse, please feel free to go there. And this opportunity for you to mingle. You can actually come up and talk to the different people and share your experiences. So let's kind of use this time now to get together, get to know each other, and it's not ending, but use this time, because this is really exciting. And when I first went there, I was really impressed. But now this has really added a lot to my experience there, so I'm very excited too.
Yes.
So, but thank you for coming, and let's get to know each other, and feel free to.
Thank you. Dr. Bai. Dr. Bai.